and it's about our stormwater management plan review. So, Mr. Atkins, please come forward. And I have to say this every time. State your name and address for the record.
James Akins, 2945 Kerwood Drive, Columbus, Ohio.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is James Akins. I'm with EMH&T, a consulting firm that we provide assistance to the city. I primarily provide stormwater assistance as far as water quality control and meeting Ohio EPA stormwater regulations. So this evening I wanted to meet with you and provide a quick overview of the city's stormwater management program. So you have to excuse me, but we're having a little technical difficulties, so I'm going to have to kind of walk back and forth here to switch slides. But to give you a quick overview, National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, NPDES. Basically, that's a program. It's rules from the U.S. EPA that regulate source pollutants, basically stormwater discharges, into waters of the states, rivers and streams. So that's the regulation behind the stormwater management program here. To give you a quick timeline, it was implemented in phases. This all started back in the 1970s as a result of the Clean Water Act. And it first started to target point source pollutants, so wastewater treatment plants. And then back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a phased program introduced. And it first started off with phase 1 communities, so larger communities like the city of Columbus. And then about 2003, they moved to phase 2, which there was stormwater water quality requirements that had to be met by smaller communities. So communities that are under 100,000 people and located solely or partially within urbanized areas. So for example, Whitehall. So it's a U.S. EPA mandated program. But here in Ohio, it's administered by the Ohio EPA. And what the Ohio EPA has is what's called a general permit that authorizes stormwater discharges from your MS4 system. And what an MS4 system is a municipal separate storm sewer system. So any runoff from the city that discharges into maybe Walnut Creek along the east side, and then the tributary streams, the city has to have general permit coverage through the Ohio EPA. Now I mentioned the term MS4. And what that is any stormwater conveyance feature that the city owns and maintains. So it's your streets, your curb and gutters, your storm sewer inlets, storm sewer pipes, ditches, anything that the city is responsible for maintaining that conveys stormwater runoff into the streets.
That's including the tributary?
That's correct.
Turkey Run
and Mason Run and Big Walnut. So I mentioned the Ohio EPA has a general permit. This is a third generation permit. They run on a 5-year permit cycle. So again, this is the third permit. It became effective September 2014, expires September 2019. Permit coverage was issued to the city by the Ohio EPA back in May 2015. And what this general permit requires is for the city to prepare a stormwater management program or plan. And this plan basically has an overall goal of improving water quality of stormwater discharges into your MS4 system and stormwater pollution prevention. And the plan has to address 6 minimum control measures, or MCMs. And the original plan, again, this is the third generation permit, so the original plan was prepared back in 2003 when that first general permit was issued, and it was renewed in 2009. And now again, with this current permit, the EPA has required communities to review the plan, evaluate its effectiveness, and make modifications to meet the current general permit requirements. So I've been working with city staff to update, modify the plan. This plan, again, has to address 6 minimum control measures. So what I quickly want to do is just review those 6 minimum control measures, give some highlights on what the Ohio EPA requires, and then just a real brief description of the plan. So the first one is MCM number 1. It has to do with public education outreach on stormwater impacts. Basically, the city has to implement a program to provide education to the community about stormwater impacts, water quality improvements, and stormwater pollution prevention. So you have to identify who's your target audiences, the target pollutant sources, your outreach strategy, and you have to target at least or include at least 5 different themes or messages within your plan that have to be met over that 5-year permit period. At least one of those messages or themes has to be directed to the development community, so construction site runoff. Again, because there's such an impact from construction site runoff and the muddy water that gets into your MS4 system. And then over that 5-year permit period, it has to reach at least 50% of the population. So the target audience here within the community are, of course, your residents, business owners, development community. As far as business owners, the EPA is highly recommending that communities address the restaurant industry in owners. There's a lot of stormwater pollutants that come from restaurants. I didn't really think about that until I started looking into it. A lot of grease, a lot of dumpsters. Themes, these are the 5 themes that were chosen to include in the plan that will be addressed over the 5-year permit period. Again, construction site runoff management, stream riparian corridor protection zone and maintenance. So you do have a couple tributary streams here in the community. There's Turkey Run and Mason Run. So it's important to have a nice riparian corridor along those streams, because that acts as a filter of stormwater runoff before it gets into that stream. Basically, providing water quality improvement opportunities for residents, what they can do at their property to help improve water quality before it gets into the MS4 system. And then commercial activities, including restaurants, and then illicit discharge detection and elimination.
What is that, riparian? What is that?
Riparian corridor, basically the vegetative buffer zone between the stream and it could be your residential areas, commercial areas.
So kind of a filter.
A vegetative filter stream. So it helps as a filter of pollutants, but then also the roots, especially if you have a lot of trees, add stability to the stream channel to help minimize erosion of the stream channel itself.
Okay, thanks.
There's target pollutants that are addressed within the plan, and then also the mechanisms that the city currently uses or plan on using, providing educational information within the city's website, and then exploring the use of social media, which is very popular right now and can reach a broad audience with the use of social media, and then including educational articles within the residential guide. MCM number 2, public involvement participation. Basically, the city needs to implement a program just to provide opportunities for the public to participate where there is a water quality component of education to that activity. So again, identifying who your target audiences are and the type of public activities that are going to occur. The Ohio EPA wants at least 5 activities to occur over that 5-year permit period. Again, you have to identify your target audience. Again, residents, business owners, the development community. And then the events, organize community cleanups or stream cleanups, workshops, exploring the opportunity to team with Franklin Soil and Water Conservation District to organize workshops such as the use of rain gardens or rain barrels, rainwater collection. Basically just best management practices that residents can implement at their property to help improve water quality. Advertise hazardous waste drop-off events, and then the EPA wants the community to provide a public reporting opportunity, and the city currently has a request tracker, and what we're proposing to do is actually include a water quality section within that report tracker where the community can reach out to the city and voice concerns about water quality related concerns or problems. MCM number 3, illicit discharge detection and elimination. The EPA is requiring communities to implement and enforce a program to detect and eliminate illicit discharges into your MS4 system. Basically, you should only have stormwater getting into your MS4 system, and there's some allowable non-stormwater discharges that are outlined within your city code. Example So the EPA requires that the city develop a map of your MS4 system, illicit discharge ordinance, and then the development of the plan to, once an illicit discharge is detected, how does the city address that illicit discharge? You know, what's the protocol for notification? How do you seek elimination of that illicit discharge? So within the plan, the city's going to prepare an IUD, illicit discharge detection elimination plan, basically how to respond to illicit discharges once they're notified by city staff, or if the city receives a complaint or concern from the community. Staff training, specifically to review that plan, and also City Code 91104, which addresses illicit discharges. Stormwater outfall dry weather screenings. EMH&T assists the city with this. Basically during dry weather periods, so it hasn't rained for more than 48 hours, we'll go out and walk the streams, look at the stormwater outfall points at the streams, and see if there's a discharge occurring, because most likely there should be because it hasn't rained. But if there is a discharge, which could be groundwater or like runoff from an irrigation system, we look to see if there's signs of illicit discharges. Is there a discoloration of the water? Is there an odor? And if there is, then most likely an illicit discharge is occurring, and then you use your MS4 map. So that's why it's important to have a map of your MS4 system. You kind of use that to figure out, okay, what's the source of that illicit discharge? So then the city can find out where that discharge is coming from, notify that property owner, for example, and basically notifying them that they have to properly address that illicit discharge. MCM number 4 is construction site stormwater runoff. Again, it's addressing the muddy runoff that comes from construction sites during development. Again, the city has to have an ordinance in place, review plans to make sure that proper controls are going to be implemented during construction to properly manage the runoff. Site inspection and enforcement procedures if violations are occurring. And then again, the EPA wants the opportunity for the community to be able to reach out to the city and voice their concerns or complaints about construction site runoff. Probably the biggest complaint that I've seen from the public is just mud being tracked out on the streets. That's an example. So the stormwater management plan highlights, again, the city has a city code that requires plans to be properly designed and submitted to the city for review to make sure that the controls are going to be properly implemented during construction. Development community education, again, that's a theme going back to our first minimum control measure. Providing education to developers and contractors within the area before they go work on a project, just to make sure that they understand their role in the development process and make sure they're properly managing that runoff. Plan reviews, again, the city reviews the plans that are submitted. Pre-construction meetings. At pre-construction meetings, again, that's an opportunity to provide education to the developers and contractors. Monthly site inspections, and that is an EPA requirement that the sites have to be inspected at least once a month to make sure that the erosion and sediment controls are being properly installed and maintained. And again, creating an opportunity for the public to voice any concerns about construction site runoff. So MCM number 5, again, it's just like construction site runoff, but again, this is at the end, once construction is completed, post-construction stormwater runoff. Basically, the city requires, or the EPA requires that the city develop a program to make sure that controls are installed as part of the development process that are going to provide water quality treatment of the runoff once the project is completed. Examples would be, stormwater management basins, retention basins, underground water quality structures that catch a lot of pollutants that have to be cleaned out by a vacuum truck. And so what the EPA requires is that the city, again, review plans, conduct site inspections, and then also ensure that there is an operation and maintenance plan and agreement established between the city and whoever the post-construction operator is going to be. Basically, that's to ensure that that installed best management practice can be properly inspected and maintained. So again, the plan, the city has code, stormwater, and a stormwater design manual that outlines the post-construction water quality controls, design controls that have to be SCM number 6, pollution prevention and good housekeeping for municipal operations. Basically, it's about the activities and operations that occur here, specifically over at the service center, and just making sure that there's a plan and procedures in place that assist with stormwater pollution prevention and water quality. There's a lot of pollutant sources that are stored at that facility and that are spread throughout the community. For example, salt, others would be like pesticides, fertilizers. There's a lot of oils and chemicals that are stored at the facility. Just wanting to make sure that they're stored in a manner where they're not exposed to stormwater and then pollute the streams. So, as part of the plan, highlights the service center. There is a stormwater pollution prevention plan that's prepared for the service center, which kind of outlines the controls that are used to help prevent stormwater pollution prevention there. We need to update that. The EPA's stormwater regulations have changed a little bit, so we're going to work with the staff over there in updating that plan. We provide annual training to the staff over there, usually in the wintertime, in between plowing events, when we find some time available. I'll get together with them and basically just kind of review that stormwater pollution prevention plan and the Ohio EPA requirements. Pollutant tracking, the city is required to track all the pollutants that are spread throughout the community, for example, like salt, and then also track how much pollutants are being removed from your sport system. For example, any sediment and debris that is within your storm sewer inlets, cleaning those out. Or a big one is street sweeping. The Ohio EPA requires communities to sweep your impervious areas, so your streets and your maintained parking lots at least twice a year. So again, the goal there is how can we minimize the amount of pollutants that are being spread throughout the community, and at the same time, how can we increase the removal of pollutants, which leads to water quality improvement. So at the end of the plan, it's hard to see here, it's blurry, but there is a table of organization that for each of the 6 minimum control measures identifies city staff who's responsible for making sure that those controls are being properly implemented. And then the Ohio EPA does require reporting. By April 1st of each year, there's a standard Ohio EPA report that the city has to submit. UHT assists the city in preparing that. And basically it just tracks, it records the activities that occurred that previous year for each minimum control measure. And you report that to the EPA, and then you also indicate your planned activities for the next year. So basically it's a good opportunity for the city to kind of do some self-evaluation, look at the stormwater management plan that's been prepared, the results of the annual report, and just to see are there additional activities that need to be planned for that next year to meet the goals that are outlined within that plan. And with that, that's a really quick overview of the plan and the requirements. But again, it's all about improving water quality here within the city and stormwater pollution prevention. Any questions?
I have a question on slide 17.
17.
I wrote it down. And I just so, I guess maybe for my own understanding. Okay, so I know that that's the retention basin or whatever you call it over at Hamilton and Etna.
Right.
And so my question is, I see that they have gravel and apparently maybe there's pipe laying underneath the gravel.
There's a perforated under.
Okay, so then that is covered up with, or is that always there as part of that retention?
This was designed, I believe, as a. You're the engineers for this project. I believe it's called a sand filter.
Okay.
So actually, underneath the stone, there's a layer of sand. So the idea is
it percolates down through there into the soil and is naturally filtered out.
right, and what doesn't percolate down in the soil is picked up by that underdrain. And at the end of this kind of rock channel, there is a stormwater outlet structure that underdrains eventually that dirt area will be grass.
Yeah.
Probably in the spring. But it is designed as an infiltrate.
But then the gravel part remains, okay. So what happens in the future as soil, leaves start to accumulate in that rock structure, which eventually can lead to it being not as efficient because the water's not going to flow through it as easily as it would have if it didn't have obstructions in it?
That's a good question, and that's where that operation and maintenance plan comes into play.
Okay.
That there's procedures on how the post-construction operator is supposed to properly inspect and maintain this basin to make sure it doesn't become clogged. And I can't remember if this project was apartments or condos. Apartments.
Basically apartments.
So there's a post-construction operator is going to be responsible for inspecting and maintaining it. But again, it's the city's responsibility to annually
Make sure that it is.
Right,
Yeah.
follow up on them, make sure they're meeting that operation and maintenance plan requirement.
All right. I was just curious because I remember when they were building it in the school, they dug big trenches over there, and they filled up with gravel and a big pipe. And I knew what the idea was. I just wasn't sure how that would run. I just kind of wanted to understand this one. All right, thanks. Appreciate it. Nobody else probably gave a rat's rear end, but I was curious.
Those used to be called French drain.
However, the thing about a French drain is it'll only drain to the water level, water table. Won't drain any more than that. Because I dug some in my yard to help get rid of water, and if there's 4 feet of water in the soil, it's in the French drain, so it doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
Oh well.
Any more questions?
I'm good.
No?
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Now here comes an exciting part of the evening. It's our first opportunity for full public. If anyone would like to come forward, you will have up to 3 minutes. Now will be your opportunity to address council on any issues or concerns. Good tidings, bad tidings, whatever. All right, we'll move on to our standing committee reviews, and we'll begin with Administration and Financial Management Chairperson.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Administration and Financial Management did meet last week, and we have a number of items that we introduced tonight. Our minutes are on file, and we will meet again next week, sometime after 6:30 and back.
All right, sounds good. How about community engagement, Chairperson Cummings?
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Community engagement met last week. Our minutes are on file, and we'll meet again in the back next week sometime after 6:30.
Okay, thank you. Community standards and enforcement, Chairperson Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community Standards and Enforcement also met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again sometime next week next Tuesday, sometime after 6:30.
Thank you, sir. Economic development, Chairperson Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Economic Development also met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file, and we'll meet again next Tuesday after 6:30 in the back.
Okay, thank you, sir. Infrastructure maintenance and services, Chairperson Gray.
Thank you, Mr. President. Infrastructure maintenance and services also met last week. Our minutes are on file, and we'll meet sometime in the back after 6:30 next week.
All right, thank you, sir. Public safety, Chairperson Staley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public safety as well met last Tuesday back in the back. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next Tuesday.
Okay, thank you, sir. Our next standing committee is Parks and Recreation. That's Chairperson Cantor. Is unable to attend the meeting this evening. However, that committee did meet last Tuesday. Their minutes are on file, and they shall also meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30. Those are all the standing committee reports this evening. We next have our officials' reports, and we'll begin with our mayor, Kim Mann.
I have no official report this evening. I'd like to remind council that next Tuesday we'll be going into in-depth about the budget. So be sure to have any questions available. We will talk about
sir. Our Director of Public Safety, Mr. Chuck Underwood.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. I have no official report this afternoon either.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have our Treasurer, Steve Quinzel.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. I have an official report tonight.
All right. Well, the following officials' reports have been filed in the council office. We have the Treasurer's Investment Report for June 2016, the Treasurer's Fund Reconciliation Report for June 2016, the Treasurer's Activity by Fund Report for June 2016, and the Mayor's Report to Council for September 2016. Those are all the officials' reports we have this evening. Under communications, petitions, and claims, we have one item listed on the agenda, and we have received one additional item, which is the notice from the Department of Commerce Division of Liquor Control that permits to sell alcoholic beverages will expire February 1, 2017, and explaining objection procedures. Those are all communications, petitions, and claims. Next, we have our verification of copies. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll on whether each member of council was given a copy of each item of legislation listed on the agenda prior to the meeting, and including any add-on legislation.
Coniston?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
All right, we'll begin our ordinances and resolutions for the evening. We have, under third reading, we have ordinance 107, 2016. It's making and approving a supplemental appropriation of $575,000 from unappropriated monies in the general fund to the transfer expense account, approving a fund transfer in the amount of $575,000 from the fund transfer expense account to various funds, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 107, 2016, and move for it to be tabled to 12/6, 2016.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Rodriguez to table ordinance 107, 2016. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
All right, ordinance 107, 2016 has been tabled to December 6, 2016. That's the only item we had under third reading. Under second reading, we begin with ordinance 111, 2016. It's approving and making an appropriation transfer in the amount of $7,000 from the staff account to the clerk of council account, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 111, 2016 for suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Morrison for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 111, 2016. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 111, 2016.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Morrison for adoption of ordinance 111, 2016. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Ordinance 111, 2016 has been adopted. Next, we have ordinance 112, 2016, approving and making an appropriation transfer in the amount of $18,000 from the record clerk salaries account to the radio operator's salary account, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 112, 2016, move for suspension of all rules.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Staley for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 112, 2016. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 112, 2016.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Bailey with a second by Mr. Staley for adoption of ordinance 112, 2016. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
execute and deliver a purchase and sale agreement and other appropriate documents on behalf of the city to buy the Schofield Drive portion of tax parcel 090008402 from City Office Inc. for $1. That ordinance is being read by title only. Our next item under first reading is ordinance 116-2016. It's approving and making a fund transfer in the amount of $15,000 from the vehicle gas account to the fleet reserve and maintenance fund, making a supplemental appropriation of $15,000 from the fleet reserve and maintenance fund to the fleet reserve and maintenance account, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 116-2016 and move for suspension of all the rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Ms. Coniston for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 116-2016. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Staley?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 116-2016.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Ms. Coniston for adoption of ordinance 116-2016. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Staley?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Ordinance 116-2016 has been adopted. Our next ordinance is 117-2016. It is amending 161.37J of the codified ordinances titled Table of Authorized Personnel. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next up on the agenda, we have ordinance 118-2016, amending 161.38 of the codified ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, titled Salary Schedule, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next is ordinance 119-2016, authorizing the mayor to enter into a collectively bargained contract with the Fraternal Order of Police, Ohio Labor Council, Inc., as a bargaining representative for the City of Whitehall Police Department part-time dispatchers for a period of 3 years from January 1, 2017 to December 31, 2019, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance number 119-2016 and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Staley and a second by Mr. Morrison for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 119-2016. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Staley?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 119-2016.
Move to adopt.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Staley, second by Mr. Morrison for adoption of ordinance 119-2016. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Staley?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Ordinance 119-2016 has been adopted. Next, we have ordinance 120-2016, amending 161.12B1 of the codified ordinances titled Overtime and Holiday Pay Eligibility. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next, we have ordinance 121-2016, approving and making a supplemental appropriation of $250,000 from previously unappropriated monies in the Wind Pity Fund to the Maine Hamilton Incentive Account, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next ordinance is 122-2016, approving and making a fund transfer in the amount of $250,000 from the Maine Hamilton Incentive Account to the Economic Development Incentives Fund, and declaring an emergency, and that ordinance is being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 123-2016, authorizing the creation of the Federated Obligation Fees Account and appropriating $300 from unappropriated monies in the Municipal Upgrades Fund, and declaring an an emergency. That ordinance is also being read by title only. Our next item is ordinance 124, 2016. It's making a supplemental appropriation to the Treasury expense account in the amount of $240,000 and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 124, 2016, for suspension of rules.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Ms. Coniston for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 124, 2016. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Bailey?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Rules have been suspended on ordinance 124, 2016.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Bailey, and a second by Ms. Coniston for adoption of ordinance 124, 2016. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Bailey?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Ordinance 124, 2016 has been adopted. Our next ordinance, 125, 2016, making an appropriation for certain special revenue, internal service, and fiduciary accounts for the calendar year 2017 in the total sum of $20,331,648.37 and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 126, 2016, approving the creation of Fund Etna Road OPWC Issue 2 Fund, approving and making an appropriation of $215,000 from the Etna Road OPWC Issue 2 Fund to the Etna Road Improvement Account and declaring an emergency. And that ordinance is being read by title only. Next, we have ordinance 127, 2016. It's approving and making a supplemental appropriation of $100,000 from previously unappropriated monies in the Wind City Fund to the Park Road incentive account, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is also being read by title only, as is ordinance 128, 2016, which is next up on the agenda. It reads, approving and making a fund transfer in the amount of $100,000 from the Park Road incentive account to the Economic Development Incentives Fund, and declaring an emergency. It sounds like I'm not quite getting that word all the way out. That's, as I said, is also being read by title only. Next, we have ordinance 129, 2016, approving and making a supplemental appropriation of $101,000 from unappropriated monies in the general fund to the workers' compensation account and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 130, 2016, making appropriation. Seems like there's a word or two missing. I'm going to read it just like it is. You make sense of it. Making appropriation for current general fund expenses, street expenses, and state highway materials expenses during the period from January 1, 2017 to December 31, 2017 in a total sum of $30,537,305 and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Our next item is ordinance 131, 2016. It's amending various sections of the chapter 135 of the Administrative Code and declaring an emergency. Being read by title only. Next, we have ordinance 132, 2016. It is an add-on ordinance this evening. It's approving and making a supplemental appropriation of $6,200 from previously unappropriated monies in the Law Enforcement Trust Fund to the Law Enforcement Trust Set-Aside Forfeiture Expense Account and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next, we have, those are all the ordinances we have this evening. We do have several resolutions. The first one is Resolution 68, 2016. It's leveling special assessments for property maintenance at certain locations in the city of Whitehall, Ohio. I need to scratch that out all the time. And certifying such costs to the Franklin County Auditor to be assessed against such property and declaring an emergency. That resolution is being read by title only. Next, we have Resolution 69, 2016. It's a resolution to adopt and support the stormwater management plan for the municipality of Whitehall, Ohio, and further authorizing the mayor to certify the SWMP.
Mr. President, I wish to introduce Resolution 69, 2016, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second?
A motion by Mr. Gregg, second by Mr. Rodriguez for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 69, 2016. Questions or comments? Ms. Whitmore, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Bailey?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Resolution 69, 2016.
Move to adopt.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Gray and a very quick second by Mr. Rodriguez for adoption of Resolution 69, 2016. Ms. Whitmore, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Bailey?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Resolution 69, 2016 has been adopted. Next, we have Resolution 70, 2016, resolving to approve then and now certificates and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Resolution 70, 2016, move for suspension of rules.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Staley for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 70, 2016. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Bailey?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Resolution 70, 2016.
Move to adopt.
Second?
A motion by Mr. Bailey, a second by Mr. Staley for adoption of Resolution 70, 2016. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Bailey?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Resolution 70, 2016 has been adopted. We have another piece of add-on legislation this evening. It is Resolution 71, 2016. It reads, resolving to approve then and now certificates and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Resolution 71, 2016, move for suspension of rules.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Ms. Coniston for introduction and suspension of rules. In fact, all of the rules on Resolution 71, 2016. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Bailey?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Resolution 71, 2016.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Ms. Coniston for adoption of Resolution 71, 2016. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston? Yes. Bailey?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Resolution 71, 2016 has been adopted. It's the last item of the legislation we have this evening. That brings us to our second opportunity for poll public. If anyone would like to come forward, you will have up to 3 minutes. I'm only going to give you a few seconds to make up your mind. All right, we'll move on to Community Day Board. Who would like to start off this evening?
I would love to.
All right.
I was noticing as I was going down Yearling Road that there is a school play over at the high school this weekend. So hopefully everybody will go out to see that. I'm sorry I missed the name. The billboard just went too quick. But I believe the
Was it Billboard or you?
it might have been me.
Ah.
Yeah, a
Little
little bit of a lead foot there.
Little
I think it's Saturday at 7. I think I saw Sunday at 2. 2:30 is a matinee. So hopefully everybody will get out to that. And now we're on to Christmas already. Goodness
Taking down on Halloween.
gracious, there's a lot of people that haven't taken down their Halloween. But I believe December 6th for the tree lighting.
6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock. And that's always fun. We'll have the high school band come out and we'll have some cookies and hot chocolate and lots of fun with some carols, so hopefully everybody will come out to that. And then we'll have December 17th, will be Breakfast with Santa over at Etna Road Elementary School. That'll be from 9 to 11. Bring canned food to help out with our Center of Hope we will be giving to this year, more dollar. And we also have the Christmas judging, which will be going on prior to Breakfast with Santa, just a few days before. So hopefully everybody's going to think about putting up their lights in the snow this weekend.
And we'll give the awards out for that in February.
Oh, Chris, you know you said that last night.
Hey, you got Valentine's.
Just make it.
Well,
Yeah.
very cold that night, exactly.
And when Dan says dress warm, I will heed his warning this time.
All right, anyone else have anything for community day board?
Just to piggyback on what Karen said about the high school play, the name of the play is Play On, and the performances are Friday at 5:30, Saturday at 5:30, and Sunday at 2 o'clock. And they are looking for volunteers to help sell refreshments and tickets.
I think that's where I got confused. I saw play on and I was waiting for play on this weekend. That's very cute.
Does anyone else have anything for community day board? All right, well, we'll move on to fall council. We'll begin with you.
Well, thank you, President. I just want to thank everybody for coming. Nice to see you. Again, Lauren, we haven't been here for a while. It's nice to see you.
All right, Mr. Staley, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I want to thank everybody else for coming out and hope you enjoy those evenings.
All right, Mr. Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd also like to thank everyone for coming out. And Carol, thank you for sitting there, filling the audience. And everybody have a good week.
Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good night, everybody.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good to see everyone, and no other comments.
All right, Mr. Gray.
Thanks for coming, and Thanksgiving's coming around the corner, so I have a safe and happy Thanksgiving.
All right, well, I want to thank everyone in our audience for being here. I also want to thank all the council members for being here. It was a very productive evening. Both the secretaries, the city treasurer, other members of the administration, thank you all so much for being here. We have no other official business coming before us. I will therefore entertain a motion of adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right. I got a motion by Mr. Bailey and a very slow second by Mr. Rodriguez. For adjournment, Mr. Frymark, please call the roll.
Thompson?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Hope to see you all at our next council meeting, which will be in 2 weeks. On the 6th, maybe, or something like that. Is that too soon?
Well,
I thought we got another one around that turkey week. We got Huh? Oh, okay. Well, it'll be right after turkey. Yeah. Oh, okay.